such an asshole.
I could swear I had a question like this not too long ago, and I'll give the same conclusion. But this guy's obviously has a unique situation to himself. Dear Asshole Consulting, if a video response is made, please keep identifying information anonymous. I am a first-year student at a college, currently pursuing accounting due to it being a stable career choice, while also being encouraged by your videos on the subject. Also, I link below a link to the Elkins Accounting Hour, where Chad Elkins, CPA, talks about accounting careers. And my God, the number of women trying to get on that show, let me tell you. I mean, dude, did they warn you about all the girls that are going to hit on you because you're an accountant? They didn't. That's because there aren't going to be any girls that are going to hit on you because you're an accountant. It's not going to happen. Just ask Chad. Is stable to being encouraged by your videos on the subject. I plan on continuing to take accounting and commerce courses through my second year, enrolling in the business school for my third year, and end up graduating with a bachelor's of science in commerce. Go ahead and make the joke. As long as it's in accounting, I don't care. Look, if you just got a general degree in business, you're a moron and shouldn't be going to college. But you got a degree in accounting, so you're good to go, while ending up with enough credit to take the CPA exam. That's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. From there, I intend to enter the workforce and hopefully become at least somewhat economically dependent by the time I'm 30. Well, I think you'll be immediately independent. You won't have to wait 8 years to become independent. You know, that's liberal arts majors. Let me explain to you liberal arts majors what makes things funny. Elements of truth. I know you're not smart enough to have a humor, but you know, I got a degree in philosophy. Oh, you sure are, little Tanner. You did great. Got B pluses all the time. Showed up, had a pulse. All right, now go drool over there. Oh yeah, patriarchy, even though you're a guy. Yep, whatever they told you to spew out. You're brave and amazing, Tanner. So I think you will not be your average college graduate, dependent and still in debt at 30. My question is regarding my exceptionally lucky economic status and whether it could change your advice. Thanks to both my father being a professional and a large inheritance, my family has what we call FU money. For reference, my parents are wrapping up. They have a multi-million-dollar home at a place with no reason to say where. Although, why there? Why there of all places? And all while paying for both my and my older brother's college tuition, which, given we are both out of state students, respectively, is like $40,000 a semester each. Dude, you know, you want look. Just I know you're young. You know, you could go Western Governors University, go to school online, get an accredited degree in accounting. Like, you don't have to commute, you don't have to travel, you don't have to move. Like, you go, unless your dad wants to bang your ma on the kitchen table, which I understand. Maybe he wants you out. Maybe that's really why he's paying the tuition. It's not because he wants you to do well. He just wants to bang your mom once again. In either case, 40 grand, that's $120,000. That could go elsewhere. Why don't you just say, hey, Dad, why not go to school online? Western Governors Union. You graduate quicker. Start taking your CPA faster. But just an option. While my parents tend not to talk about financials, the inheritance alone amounted to several $1 million, as well as diversified stock portfolio, and I believe precious metals, though I'm not entirely sure. If you were in my position, would you continue down the path of accounting, or would you take some other course of action given the circumstances? I thank you for the advice I have received from your videos, as well as any future advice you may render. I should also note that I am well aware this is probably the most of first world problems. Best regards. Will keep you anonymous. All right, let me explain it to you this way. Look at everyone that wins the lottery. Look at everyone who gets unearned money. And that's what it is. I'm not accusing you of any ill doing, but you didn't earn that money. All right. You're just going to get it. You're going to inherit it. Now, look at everyone who inherits money. Like they're in your position. What do they typically turn out to be? Mark Dayton is former governor of Minnesota. Mark Dayton. His parents ran the Dayton Corporation. That was Marshall Field's Dayton's. You may know it by the other business they started called the Target Corporation. This guy is a joke of a human being. Oh, he became senator and he became governor of Minnesota. That's because he had rich grandparents, I believe it was. And he was on drugs, I think some kind of like prescription drugs. I guess there was speculation about alcohol. I think he just married some 33-year-old. He's divorced. I and then I'm trying to think. People who win the lottery. Have you seen Hollywood actors? They make all the money, and then what happens? They're in rehab and all that. Let me let you in on a little secret about humanity. Humans weren't designed for an easy life. They weren't. Humans are designed to toil and suffer and to endure pain. And in a weird, effed up, illogical, doesn't make a lot of sense at first sense. If you are not challenged, if you're not doing something, you will at best atrophy into a drug addict, be that booze or something else. All right. At worst, you will become mentally ill, depressed, self-deletion idle. The guy, I think he wrote uh a third path, a third dark path you go down is you become like these politicians or political activists. Like look at what's her name? Greta Thunberg. She has everything bought and paid for. Rich parents, or Sweden, whatever lame country she's from. Where oh my god, free everything. Here you go. Oh my god, the Russians. No, we're not. Not this time. You figure it out. Hope you got that Finlander sniper from World War II. Do you think she's mentally sane? You think she's happy? Nancy Pelosi is another perfect example. She sucked the right cock or cocks. I don't know. Does she look like a happy person? There's this other gal. They did a before and after picture when this woman went into the Senate, I believe, in the 1960s, and what she looks like today. She just like, what the hell happened to you? Humans are meant to work and accomplish things, and over the long haul, you will get your highest rewards when you start accomplishing things. Where you belong to something, I hate to say this, a little larger than yourself. All right, but there's production at the end. But people who win the lottery, people who are trust fund babies, they're just Hillary Clinton. Do you think that woman had a good day in her entire life? I think she was running for president when her daughter had a kid. Not like the daughter had birthed a kid at that time, although maybe. But I'm like, look, don't you want to go be a grandma? Like, you want to be in Washington, D.C.? And what ends up happening is because these people never had to work for a living, they don't know not only the value of a dollar, they certainly don't know the value of a dollar. They don't know value, period. Because the people in their lives they didn't have to sacrifice. I'll give you another example. I didn't go to a lot of parties in college because I was working all the time. Well, you weren't invited. No, I was working all the time. So when I got the planets aligned that the guys at security were throwing a party, I didn't have to work that night, or I would get off at a certain time. Dude, I was so excited. I'm more excited going like any kind of like prom or dance at the schools I went to. Were these parties any better or worse than the other? Well, they're pretty good parties out there. Yeah, they're pretty good parties. They're all right. Or well, no, that would be a different environment. Let me keep it simple. It was so rare that I got to go to the party I was excited about. Why? Because I knew what it took to work up to pay for all my food, clothing, and shelter, take care of all my Maslow's hierarchy of needs to get to the point that I have free time. I'll give you another example, like that first nice day of spring when I could actually go biking with my buddies. The first day above 60. Oh, dude, loved it. But and I had to work for it. It was rare and I had to work for it. If you just have that all the time, you are flooded with instances of it that you don't appreciate it. You have no value. You didn't even have to pay for it. And so this is without that ability to assess value, whether it's financial, time, or personal, like that's a valuable person. That person invested their time. That person took off time for me or went to the gym for whatever. All right. Without knowing that, because you've never had to work, you've never had to pay the price yourself to offer value to someone else. You are not able to have good, what's the word I'm looking for? Not honest, productive, loving, uh, sincere, authentic relationships with other human beings. I'll give you another one. I worked security detail once. One of the Saudi princes came to the medical facility. What the hell is it called? The Mayo Clinic down in Rochester, Minnesota. They wanted a ton of security. And I was a bit confused because I knew enough about the Saudi family. I'm like, well, this isn't the dude. This is like one of his literally thousands of cousins. Like there's a lot of royalty in the Saudi, but this guy was wealthy, but he wasn't the main guy. Because I was like, well, when the FBI or the CIA, why us? Well, because he was a nobody and he wanted to have security because he wanted to flash around. He wanted to feel like a big important guy. That's what it was. He wanted to have a bunch of dudes with black suits, white shirts, armed to the hilt, chaperoning him and his entourage around. That's what it was. There was no threat. Nothing happened. But by God, the streets were safe in Rochester with all the armed bodyguards. But what I noticed about this particular family, because he brings his 87 wives, and they would just buy shit. They buy shit. One lady bought a whole bin of Walmart little hand sanitizers. And I'm like, well, are you going to go back to Saudi Arabia, give it to the poor? That's what I thought. And I'm like, no, they're just bored and they're buying. And I started to see like these people had equivalent billions. They've never had to work. They don't know. Like they literally are. It's the equivalent of shopping at Walmart or shopping at Neiman Marcus. There's no difference because everything is universally affordable to them. Everything is free, essentially. So a huge box of hand sanitizer, completely impractical too. Or a $40,000 brooch, $100,000 brooch. There's no value. Those numbers mean nothing. And if the numbers mean nothing, you don't know the value of labor. If you don't know the value of labor, you don't know how important it was that your dad worked hard all those hours, or grandpa worked hard all those hours, or your buddy took time off in his really busy schedule for you guys to go on that road trip. Like they think just giving that's why they got a surplus of time. And they're not terribly exciting or interesting people either because they never formed or galvanized themselves. Look, I hate to say this. Nobody likes Atham. We all know that. But you know why he's one of the most interesting people I could have a good conversation with? Because he's gone through hell. And because he's gone through hell, Atham is not Mark Dayton. Atham is infinitely more interesting and valuable and a better person, I'd say, in terms of quality of human, not necessarily moral. Mark Dayton didn't commit no crimes. Atham is a way better man to talk to, be friends with, hire, be governor of Minnesota than this trust fund baby Putz that the Minnesotans just, oh my God, Dayton, I remember the name. Why is there so much crime? Or he keep throwing more money in it. That's how it solved him. So you as a human being, for a multitude of reasons, should still go get an accounting degree and get your CPA, which there's no financial reason to do it. You're right. You don't need to do it for money. I mean, maybe you got to work a while until you get the inheritance. That will make this 20, 30 year, hopefully your dad lives longer, or mom, I'm dying too soon. So you don't really have to worry about money, but there's a lot of philosophical, psychological, biophysical compelling reasons for you to get a CPA or become a truck driver or work as a carpenter, even if you don't have to. Because if you don't, you're not going to develop as a human. You will be a boring, worthless person to other people. You won't have good friends. You won't have a good love life. Ask Bill and Hillary. I had no relations with that woman. Wait, is a blowjob relations? I did have relations with that woman. He was a cool president. Everyone loved him. So he played the saxophone. Oh my God. Wee. You love like you're good. You're gonna suck as a human being. You're gonna be boring. Oh, here's this rich kid. Here's Mr. Tapioca over here. And so I think going through that is going to fill in all that stuff. It will make you a unique person. I mean, an accountant, but better than a trust fund baby. It will teach you the value of other people's time. It will teach you the value of money. I got a friend of mine, I can't say who, legit billionaire, heir, H-E-I-R, not billionaire. When this person inherits the money, they will become a billionaire. They are an heir to a multi-billion-dollar fortune. That makes sense. This person insisted on working for himself, insisted on supporting him, and took no money. Now, it will come down to him down the road. All right. One of the coolest and an interesting person, because this person has gone through the trials and tribulations. And so if you wish to have, and the money is great. Okay. Money is wonderful. It makes life easier, but it really is going to be the value of the people you run into. And it is not in rich people who didn't earn it. Rich people earned it. Like, hey, Larry Ellison, love to hang out with the guy. Who's the guy in Virgin Airlines? Richard Branson, would love to hang out with the guy. Jeff Bezos, I'd like to hang out with the guy. Maybe not as much as Larry Ellison. Larry Ellison's pretty badass. I'd rather hang out with Jeff Bezos. Mark frickin' Dayton, I'd rather hang out with our no good, dirty Mexican friend Atham before I hang. I mean, how bad can it be? How boring have you got to be? We're hanging out with Atham. Oh my God. And so when you go through these trials and tribulations, you will become a more interesting person, and you will find more interesting people. And you get the money, and then what else is there? Like, if you just got a bunch of trust fund kids surrounding you, it's going to be a real boring life. No one's going to be making really good jokes. No one's going to get you luchador hats or masks. No one is gonna. I'm just trying to think what my other poor friends do is stupid stuff. No one going to go ride bike. I talked to Khan. I mean, it's great talking about how he thinks there's so much depth to architecture. It's BS. Oh, you're shallow-minded. You know nothing. That's going to be more important long-term in life once you got your basic food, clothing, and shelter squared away. So since that's squared away, do not deprive yourself of these challenges, whether it's a career or going to the gym, which you should be doing too. Maybe even a stint in the military might do you a little bit of good, so that you're not just another. I mean, dude, think about this. I know not everyone is a trust fund baby. Like, they're not going to inherit multiple millions of dollars like you stand to gain. But look at just what a little bit of money, so you don't have to pay for food, clothing, and shelter. Look at the average American person today, young person especially. They're entitled. They're lazy. They think the most important thing about them is either a trait they were born with or their belief system, of which is invariably socialism or feminism or environmental, some kind of ism where they're just virtue signaling morons. What kind of a conversation you think you're going to have with David Hogue? Like, yeah, Dave, we know you're dancing on the grave of your fallen high school student peers because of the gun shooting. Yeah, that's great, Dave. You're a real contributor there to society. Would you want to talk to Mark Dayton? Hey, how's that alcohol tasting? Oh boy, I bet you. Hey, you know what we need more of? Other people's money. That's what we need more of there, Mark. Those are going to be some real boring people, and you don't want to be one of them. And then there's the gal. Like, you're going to find a girl. Girls want interesting guys. They do want money too, but those are the wrong type of gals. You want that girl laughing at your stupid jokes because you're clever and witty and hits your backhand right in your chest because you made some kind of snide, lewd remark. Then you got her. But yeah, that's what I would do. And look, you're going to look back and you can say, well, what did I do with my life? I just collected parental check or government check. There is no difference between the trust fund baby and the welfare parasite. There just isn't. I mean, the trust fund baby obviously has better food and clothing and housing, but in terms of how interesting a human they became, no, there's no difference. And in the end, you have just pissed away your life. Because here's the other thing. Can your parents take all that money with them? No, they can't. That's why you're getting an inheritance. Can you take all that money with you? No, you can't. So it really isn't necessarily money. You just need enough money to get by. Now, here's what's great with that money. Let's say you go become your CPA, you work really hard. I would still, you say, well, if the big four, you get into the big four and they start pulling BS on you, I would still stick in for a year. Like you're committed to stick in for a year or 2 years. I want to do more than 2. Just so you can see if you can do it. Like you don't have to worry about your finances, which is a great feeling. You don't have to worry about food or making rent or fixing your car or fixing your Schwinn. You're going to be okay on that regard, but you should still go through it as a philosophical exercise to endure the pain and penury that the average American endures. And so, yeah, go work at whatever, Deloitte and Touche, Ernst and Young. Go sit in the diversity and inclusion train like, oh my God, you're all freaking morons. Wow. Oh, you got a McMansion mortgage and that's why you're here. You just go suffer it. So you know what the common person has gone through. But then when you get a little bit older, after, see if you could support yourself till 40 without taking a bit of parents' money. You make it to 40, yeah. You're a real man. You supported yourself. Okay. And now you know how to spend that money more wisely because you understand value. You know not to donate it to some leftist group masquerading behind some kind of noble cause where 98% of the money is not going to make it into the hands of the intended recipients. 98% of the money is going into the leaders of Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry, I'm kidding. That was 99% of the money goes into the hands of Black Lives Matter. You'll actually do something good with that money. I'm not saying you have to do charity, but you're not going to lose it. You'll budget for it. You'll understand it. And your life is just going to be that much better. So there you go. All right. Scrolling through the super chats very quickly. My truth, $2, bro, dude. Forget the CPA. Get the Kaish MBA. Kaish. Get the Kaish MBA. I don't get your MBA if you could avoid it. Nightbot, $5. I'm 20 male without a car. I feel like I'm behind in life, and girls and social media clowns me. Am I behind where I'm supposed to be at my age? No, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. I mean, are you in training for something? Are you aiming to become a truck driver? Are you in the military? No, you're not behind. Are you at home playing video games, jerking off to prawn? You are? Well, then you're just right in the middle of the pack. And what a great pack it is to be in. Hey, look at that generation over there. Look at them kick a lot of ass. Though there is an article that has shown that young people are doing actually quite well in saving for retirement. I am actually very impressed. So the numbers may paint a different picture than the stereotype. Bob, $2. Can a no accounting major get a CPA? Yes, you would have to still get enough credits in accounting classes to sit for the CPA. It depends on the state though, so look at your local state. But you would have to go back and brush up to get enough master's credits to sit. Dung is fun, $2. Cappy, did you see the Ohio chemical disaster? No, I don't watch the news. What did I do today? I went to the gym. I fixed the irrigation system. I had a cigar, and now I'm doing this. Oh, I had lunch, and I don't care what happens to the world. When the world starts caring what happens to me, I'll start caring what happens to the world. In the meantime, all I heard from the world was, I'm a bad person. I'll burn in hell. I'm not behaving. You got to get your grades up. Don't talk to the teacher like that. You need to do this. You're the cause of everyone's problems. We hate you. And I'm like, why would I care what's going on in your lives then? That's it. All right. See you guys later. Toodles.